Hi guys, so in this video I want to talk a little bit about the struggles that brought me the success and manifestations that I'm now sharing with you. I don't really talk a lot about my personal life, but I feel like I need to start sharing it so you can have faith and hope that things do work out the way that they're meant to, and that our mind and our thoughts and what we believe. And I feel like being born kind of a stubborn leader has helped me through challenges where people consistently threw doubt my way. So my first career was in federal law enforcement, and I ended up getting into an accident, and I got really sick with Lyme disease. Really sick to the point where I barely could get out of bed, and it was a struggle just to get up to brush my teeth, take a shower. And at this point, I was very athletic, a runner, go to the gym 2 hours, run 5 miles. I have a physical fitness award from my academy that I won. I just was a very active person, and I was in my 20s, so it's not a great time to be in bed, but the universe took me down for a reason. I couldn't see it in that moment, but I remember saying to myself, if I get through this and I get well, I am gonna help other people also become well. The greatest obstacle I felt in that time, it was about a year, where I was very sick, was that the depression, the thoughts in my mind is what really upset me the most. So I started to study spiritual healing. American medicine was not working for me, antibiotics, that sort of thing. So I started to look at different ways of healing. And I dabbled in just about everything that you could think of. And I started to get better. And then I joined a group of people who were doing this healing work where we were receiving these downloads. And we had to check in every week to talk about our improvements. And it was, looking back, we didn't know it at the time, but it was all the power of belief. And anyway, I ended up going back to school, getting a master's in holistic counseling, getting, my health back together, my fitness. I didn't think at the time I would ever have children. I remember back in the day, it was about a vision board. We didn't really have social media. I made a vision board. I wanted to have a family. I wanted to have children. At that point, I didn't think I could do anything, if I would even survive. And anyway, everything that I put on that ended up coming true. So when it came time to graduate, everyone went into mental health counseling and, working and doing just the regular counseling that you would go if you go to a regular therapist. And I ended up just totally going in a different direction and encompassing my angel readings. I had a near-death experience when I was a baby, in a carriage stroller, and I was saved by a non-human figure that I would later, figure out that it was an angel, guardian angel, guide. And, so there's a lot of things that I want to share success-wise, but I want there to be an understanding that sometimes in order for something to happen, the universe gives us certain lessons. And I know that looking back, my lesson at the time was I had to slow down. I had to get out of the career I was in, which I was very unhappy in anyway, and I thought about leaving, but I was pretty kind of obsessed with money at the time, and, how would I live and taking a leap and all this stuff. So I really had to kind of like jump off a cliff. And be really risky. And I realized that, we don't have an eternity on this planet. We don't know how long we have here. I happen to heal and get better, and have a much more prosperous life. But every day is a gift. Even if you're healthy in this moment, you never know what can happen. And so I do this work because I want you to be happy now. I want you to find peace now. And the only way that you can find that is by finding it inside. Not when you find your soulmate or your specific person, not when you make that money, not when you have this certain car or house or anything. The happiness comes within. And when you can find that within, it's liquid gold, because no matter what happens on the outside, no one can take that from you. And it doesn't matter what happens in your relationships or what happens in your 3D reality, what kind of rejection happens, what kind of, hurt and pain that maybe a lover does to you, or grief and loss and all these things, because our soul is limitless, okay? And we don't just embody the body like in the human form, like the way that most people think. I believe we travel at night. Our consciousness travels. I mean, that's why most times if you have a loved one that is no longer here, they come to visit you in dreams, because it's easier for your subconscious to accept it than to come in, in a non-human form. And so a lot of successes have come from struggles. Okay, so that's one of my main points I want to get across. And then secondly, whatever you believe, whatever you feel to be true, is what is going to come into your reality. So I knew that I wasn't going to be physically down for the rest of my life. I was not going to live that way. And my stubbornness and part of my personality helped me with that. And, I want to encourage you to not let other people limit you, not let old beliefs or programs or whatever is happening like in human form ever tell you what you can and can't do. God can give you a miracle in a second. So if you're struggling in any way right now, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, and you just needed one little thing to kind of get you through, I want you to know, like without a doubt, that everything is working out for you. And I'm going to keep sharing more and more things, because there was another instance that happened that's really huge. And I want you to also know that when you let go and you accept is when the miracle comes. Not when you're in compulsion of how, when, why is this happening? And you don't want to go into that way of thinking. You just want to say, okay, universe, thank you. Like, I accept this. This person doesn't want to be with you. Okay, something even better is going to happen. This job doesn't want to have me. Something better is going to happen. And I mean, I'll tell you right now, I've been fired from several different regular mental health counseling jobs because they didn't like the way I thought. And I was not changing my inner belief system. It was so built that I was like, oh, I got fired? Shit. I need Christmas gifts? Okay, well, I'll just manifest the money. And then I created my own business. So the struggle might appear to be a struggle, but it really isn't. It's actually propelling you forward. And growth only happens through struggle. When shit is comfy and easy, we're not trying to level up. When you go to the gym, is it easy to build a muscle? No, it hurts. You're tearing and rebuilding, and you're in pain for days after you work on that specific muscle. But anyway, I had Lyme disease 19 years ago, and I'm still going to the gym, and I'm as healthy as I can be, that I choose to be. And more will be coming. So I love you guys.